shine. Rise up and unite. Woo! Rise up.
I appreciate you taking time to talk with us today. And so just to fill you in a little bit, I know we haven't had really much conversation, just kind of through email.
Right.
So we are doing a success series.
Okay.
We are looking at 5 to 10 things that you feel have contributed to your success that you could share with the people listening today. But before that, I'd like to hear a little bit about your business. I love following you. I'm so intrigued. So tell me how that started and where you're at now.
So I've been in the industry, the aesthetic industry, for 28 years now. And I'm 42. So I've been doing this quite some time.
You look like you're 28.
Well, I practice what I preach. So I try to look youthful and stay youthful by putting in safe and ethical practices for myself and my own aesthetic needs. But it's all in moderation. I've been doing this a long time. So after so many years of working with some of the best surgeons in the world, and kind of being a daughter to these men and women, they've really taken me under their wing and trained me the right way and educated me the right way. So I kind of feel like I've been in a 28-year residency, in a medical residency, just learning every single day, day in and day out, working with some of the best aesthetic surgeons available to us here. And in doing so, you learn, you see the good, the bad, and the ugly. You see everything. Yeah. So, and I think you see, different techniques and technologies, tried and true. So, I think to be a consultant, you have to be an expert or have some type of an extensive experience in one respective industry. And, I've stayed on one path all the way through. So if we're talking about success today, and that is definitely something when I mentor young girls, young women, that I tell them, try to stay on one path. Don't go off in all different directions, because you want to become great at what you're going to do in life. So always try to stay on that one path. Yeah. There are going to be days where you hate it. There are going to be days where you just want to give up, but don't. So, patience is important in becoming great in one industry. And there are people who are serial entrepreneurs and go in all different directions. I'm not really a serial entrepreneur. I am an entrepreneur who has built multiple companies off of one platform. And sometimes that's the best way to do something and become the best at it. Right. When you stay kind of in the same realm of that scope of expertise that you're so good at, and then you build from there. And there's all different outlets and all different directions you could go. But having that core philosophy and that core expertise in whatever industry that is kind of the heart of your company, and build out from there. I think that's important.
Yeah, I like how you said there's going to be some bad days and days you don't like it. And I think
in every single industry across the board.
And we always
like my mother always says, and when I have a bad day, she goes, well, not every day is going to be great. And I'm like, that's true. And I always have to remind myself of that. Like, not every day is going to be a great day. We try to make it as great as we possibly can, but not every day is going to be a great day.
Right. And if we go in knowing that there's going to be some bad days, there's going to be some good days, rather than, gosh, I just don't feel 100% every single day, that it's much stronger going in knowing there's going to be those bad days.
Well, the bad days are necessary, because you learn and you grow and you become stronger from those bad days, right? So, and it feels like one of those things, like when it rains, it pours, and this happens to everyone. Like, everything's going wrong. When you put that out into the universe, everything will go wrong. But you stop, you breathe, you take a look at what's going on. You say, okay, here's the problem. This is how we're going to fix it. And moving forward, to avoid this from happening again, you take the lesson from that situation. Right. And if you don't grow and you don't learn from that problem or whatever it is that's creating that bad day for you, it's going to keep repeating itself until you actually learn from it. So,
true.
I think growing up and starting this company. So, I started the company when I was 21 years old. So I think starting it so early in life and making every horrible mistake I could have possibly made in my 20s has made me a very strong businesswoman now in my 40s. because I made every single possible mistake anyone could ever make in the worst possible way. So
like, what was one really bad one that you feel like you learned so much from it?
I think just I had a really hard time with accepting constructive criticism in my 20s. And rather than, and it's like keep cooler heads prevail, that whole lesson, and me lashing out on people who would give me constructive criticism. I burnt a lot of bridges in doing so, just because I had such a hard time accepting constructive criticism. And I see this a lot with the younger women who I mentor too. They have a very hard time, when they're putting their heart and soul into something, but it might not be the right way of doing something. And someone comes in and they offer their constructive criticism or say like, maybe this way is not really working. It's not working for me. It's not working for anybody. Try to tweak the way you're doing things. And these girls take it really hard. Yeah. So I think it's just building that thick skin, and that comes with time. But for me, I took it so personal, and rather than say, oh, this person's a little bit older than me and maybe, has a different view on things, or, has had a different walk of life where I could possibly learn from this person, I just got angry at them and, burnt a bridge. Right. So, I was always known as this like disgruntled young businesswoman when I was in my 20s. And that's definitely changed, because I'm just like, gosh, I was so foolish then. And I made so many mistakes, and I should have really listened to that person because they were right, and swallowed my pride. I had a lot of pride and a lot of integrity, and, I didn't want to hear anyone else's way. I only wanted to hear my own way. And I think, over time, building a business, you really have to stop talking and start listening. And I think, listening makes anyone successful if you really, truly listen. Anyone you meet when dealing in business, you're always going to find out what they want from you within the first 5 to 10 minutes of talking to them. So if you really stop and listen to what somebody is saying during that time frame, the 5 to 10 minute time frame, I think you're really going to learn exactly how you're going to be able to help them, or if it's going to work, or, if it's a good match, or, if it's going to be a good client relationship, and how you're going to be able to help them best. So listening, the listening skills have become something that I've picked up along the way. And yeah, the big mistakes have come from just, building that thick skin and not taking things too personally. Yeah.
My husband always says, call it constructive feedback rather than constructive criticism. Just the change in words helps.
Even the criticism part is great. You got to stop, again, it's like, don't mask the word, take the word for what it is and learn and grow from it. Criticism, feedback, if the word feedback makes you feel better, it is what it is. And, if the word criticism, it makes you feel horrible, it is what it is. Also, being a woman in business, in a man's industry, this is the boys' club, the medical industry. So being a female consultant, nonetheless, someone who's going in and providing help and guidance, and someone who people listen to and take advice from, it's been very difficult, growing in this industry as a woman, and someone that people take very seriously. So, I think there's something that comes along with the stigma of being a woman and building a business, is that women are very emotional. Yeah. We speak with our emotions. We're very emotional animals. And that's why people don't take women seriously, because we're so emotional. So I've really become desensitized from being such an emotional woman. Yes, I'm very empathetic to my clients, but I've really had to detach from my emotions in building my business. And I think that was a really important part of it as well, because I would, again, take things personally, or, harbor these feelings of just like resentment towards people. How dare you? This is not fair. Right. You have to realize that being in business, there's a lot of things that aren't going to be fair, and you have to learn and grow from that as well.
Exactly. So walk us through. So somebody wants to get a more youthful appearance, maybe have something done surgically to their body. Is it only surgical type things, or is it non-surgical too? And then they reach out to you, and then you find walk me through that process.
Yeah, so we get everything coming into us, and women who are teenagers up until their 70s or 80s wanting to do things. There's the non-surgical and there's the surgical. The short answer to all of this is that the surgical approach is always the best approach. Non-surgical approach is never going to guarantee long-term gratification. So an instant gratification results are never going to create long-term satisfaction. So anything that you're looking for a quick fix, there is no, grand end to the quick fix. So a lot of people waste money because they simply don't want to do what's inevitable. You're going to have to do it anyway in a couple of years. Everyone looking to do the non-invasives for anti-aging and all of these technologies that have come out, they provide a very minimal instant gratification result, which could potentially be harmful long-term. So I'm not a huge fan of instant gratification results for anything. I am a fan of surgery. I think that that's the way you're going to get your best results. And really, other than laser and a couple of skin tightening devices that I've given the thumbs up to, you will see nothing non-surgical on my page, not fillers. I'm really not a fan of the fillers. And everything on my page for the results that you see are all surgical results.
Okay. So how do you find your customers and your clients, and how do you find the physicians that you want them to work with?
It's just, extensive experience and knowledge and know-how and the who's who, and knowing and leveraging the relationships that I have developed over 28 years of being in this industry, knowing who's doing all of the studies, knowing who is, on the forefront of new technology or techniques, and spending a lot of time in meetings all over the world, really taking that time and immersing yourself in the industry at the society meetings, reading the journals, reading, the new textbooks that have come out, and then having just endless conversations with surgeons every single day, listening to what they're noticing going wrong, with the coming of all new technology or the turn of a decade after we've seen 10 years of people using a certain technology and how it's denaturing tissue or creating scar tissue. So these consistent conversations and relationships is what helps me find the best surgeons. And no one could do that unless you've been doing this for many, many years and working with these guys side by side, day in and day out, and actually seeing and observing the surgeries and observing when things are going wrong and why, and truly understanding each individual procedure, each technique and how it affects the procedure and the outcome, and then just seeing multiple outcomes, whether good or bad, and understanding why that was good or bad.
What's the number one requested surgery that you get called on?
Lately it's been facelift.
Yeah.
So that's probably the number one. A lot of mommy makeover. It really depends. I feel like I feel like requests come in ebbs and flows. We get hundreds of requests every single day. So every week, me personally, I talk to about 20 patients a day, 20 clients a day. And I would say, we have a team of 25 consultants, and they each talk to about 5 to 10 clients a day. So every single day we're talking to a lot of people and overseeing and coordinating their surgeries and making sure that, they're set up with the right individuals and making sure that that communication is consistent between the surgeon and their staff and the patient. So, I have 3 girls on the back ends just dealing with emails alone. And right now our emails, we're having a problem with it going to spam. So I've been dealing with this problem all week at the moment. No. It's such a nightmare.
So how do you fit it all in? What's your calendar look like? What's your priorities?
Well, time management is something, it's business consulting 101. So before I was a patient consultant, I was a business consultant. And I went to school for organizational psychology and how to organize businesses and understand personality. So time management is one of those things when you go into a business, everyone needs to prioritize their time and you need to negotiate. So I think how do I do it all is being able to negotiate well and delegate, negotiate and delegate. So working with certain doctors that you have the relationships with to get the patients in. That's the negotiation part of it. And the delegation part of it, obviously, is having your staff and being able to delegate the tasks accordingly to whoever's strengths are, you know, where they are. I have some girls on my staff who are great on the phone. I have others who are excellent on email. I have others who are just excellent in organizing my, you know, and setting my travel schedule and organizing my day-to-day schedule. So everyone has their strengths. And I think, you know, being a good boss, you have to see what each individual's on your staff, what their strength is, and be able to delegate those tasks accordingly. Know who the negotiation people are, and know the girls who, you know, that the doctors aren't going to go over their heads because they want to talk to me, that they're able to, you know, hold their ground and talk to doctors and get things taken care of, because a large part of our day is negotiating skills with the fees, with doctors' time, with negotiating getting people's surgeries expedited. So that's a really big part of it as well. So
wow,
I think
it's just full service everything. It's not
it's
just
a full service everything. Yeah. But sometimes we could get surgeries down 50%. I mean, I have at times. So it's negotiation skills with these doctors.
wow. So
Yeah.
does the patient pay you? Is that how do you earn?
Patients pay us only. That's it. We are a service to the patient. The doctors, if we work with them, yes, they're getting the benefit of all of our referrals. I do have 3 companies, so doctors will pay us on a practice management fee if they choose to bring us on as practice management consultants. But as far as the referral back and forth to the doctor, patient to doctor, doctors do not pay us for referrals. It's actually unethical, and Stark law, you cannot pay a consultant you cannot pay or fee split for someone who's referred business to you in the medical industry.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So that has to be a good feeling to the client. So,
It is, you know, it's a trust thing. And I think,
yeah.
and a large part of why I never put a fee in place for the doctor is because I'm just like, if I were a patient and if I were to use a consultant, would I want to know that my consultant was being paid for every, you know, referral that I sent that, you know, was sent to him? No, I would never want that. So it's like, do unto others.
Exactly. So what other advice would you give to the viewers if they're trying to start their business? It sounds like yours is pretty established. You're very good at delegating and negotiating. How do you build the staff to do that? How do you notice their strengths? What are some other advice tips that you could share with us?
Yeah. So I am really of the mindset that slow and steady wins the race when building a business. A lot of people expect instant gratification results in business. You know, people don't have patience these days. And I've noticed this a lot. When I first started my business, you know, it was a bit successful from the get-go, but a lot slower, obviously. And it took a while. And I just read a lot of books by a lot of business owners. So I think educating yourself on literature written by business owners and trying to, you know, get as much advice from just reading. I mean, it's free. You have there's tons of self-help books and books written, you know, The Entrepreneur, the E-Myth by Michael Gerber, which I kind of like swear by that whole entire series. So I read E-Myth over and over and over again. And there's something in that book that always stood out to me. And it said that 88% of small businesses fail before the 4-year mark. And I am a firm believer that that is true. I waited 4 years after I read that. And I was like, I'm going to hang on. I'm going to just ride this wave and see where it takes me. But I'm not going to give up before 4 years. And at 4 years, something very large happened. We remodeled the business. We started getting more business. And then all of a sudden, all these doors just opened up. So I believe there's something magical about that 4-year mark. And I think every 4 years, you see a change in a company. So, you know, we've been in business now for 18 years, going on 19 years. And I've seen a significant growth in each 4-year milestone. So it's, you know, it's one of those things where you just have to be patient. You know, slow and steady wins the race. I think that any type of instant gratification money that comes to a business is not going to be long lasting. And I think instant gratification, anything in life, is not going to sustain you for, you know, for the duration of time that you want to have your company. And for me, I always looked at this as like, I want to build this slow and steady. I want to really, start small steps to large successes. And that's kind of always what has been my philosophy. That's always been my philosophy. So slow and steady wins the race. And that's really how you build a business. What?
Was it hard to delegate and let go of the reins and have the team take some of that?
I knew when I started getting really stressed out because of the volumes of emails that were coming in that I needed to hire someone. And when I hired that first person, I realized how beneficial it was to have her on my team, because she basically quadrupled production for the business. And then when I hired someone else, more. So every single person who I've hired have opened up more time for me and have enabled me to do more and really, be the brain of this company and the creative, the creative source of the whole company while they're doing, the behind the scenes work. And it's opened up time. So, that time management's so important. And a lot of the times that time management has to be done with the delegation of hiring new staff and making sure that you have people who are capable of getting the job done and reliable, right, and care, something that they actually care about. So right. It's sometimes, the hiring is the most difficult part of any company.
Yeah, I think so. Finding the right people. And is there anything that I'm not asking you that you would like to share?
Anything that you're not asking me? I mean, I think it's different for everybody depending on what your goals are. So oftentimes when I'm mentoring young women, it's more of, what are your goals? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where do you see yourself in 10 years? And writing those goals down for yourself, of course, this is something that a lot of these motivational speakers teach time and time again, becoming a goal writer and writing your goals down and writing things down. But I think you have to really envision yourself to be in a place where you see yourself in the future, and you keep that vision alive. It's going to happen for you. It's kind of like that mind over matter thing. And I'm a big believer in The Secret and manifesting things to happen for yourself. So, just always stay in a positive mind frame, even when things aren't going well. If you envision yourself there, you'll get there, but it's just going to take time, and don't give up.
Right. I like that. And I think it is important to gain that clarity so that you know what you are focused on. What's next? What's next in the next 4 years?
What's next for me?
Yeah.
Well, we have some big things happening. So, with expansions and growing the company outwards, now we're opening up some remote offices. So we will have actual offices in different territories, which I'm very excited about. We're hiring a bigger team. We're building platforms. We will be doing more things interactively with our website. And, we're trying to open up these agencies everywhere. So I am hiring a lot more consultants. I won't be the only consultant. There will be other consultants that everyone's working with, which I'm excited about, which will free up more of my time. Even though everyone wants to talk to me, I'm trying to find the best possible team I can. Right. I think that there's been a major shift in the landscape of aesthetic medicine, especially through social media. Things are changing on social media. And the way people are finding their doctors has been changing. The way people are doing research has been changing too. So, I think just doing a landscape analysis and understanding what's actually happening at all times and being ahead of it and staying on top of that is crucial to being able to grow outwards. And just understand what the trends are. What do people really, really want? But that, again, all comes with just constant education and constantly staying on top of your industry. So, for me to grow, I just have to understand, of course, where the trends are. And, there should be a book coming out. You will see me doing more media. I will be on TV some more. Who knows? Maybe a show.
Really?
Possibilities are endless, Cindy.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait. Well, congrats to you. I'm so excited
Thanks.
for your success. My daughter had told me about you a while back, and I've been following you closely ever since. And then when I told her I was going to do this series, she's like, you got to call Melinda and have Melinda. I want to hear what Melinda says. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. This has been great. And I love that you're a reader. I'm a big reader, and I was going to ask you your favorite book, and I think you shared E-Myth is
The E-Myth is definitely probably my top. E-Myth Revisited, and then there's the E-Myth Mastered, I believe.
Yeah.
Those two books were like life-changing and really eye-opening for me. So yeah, I'm a big fan of Michael Gerber. He's one of my faves.
Nice. Well, we'll definitely read those. And then how can somebody reach you? What's the best way to reach you if they want to utilize your services?
Well, I mean, I would say email. However, our emails are being spammed at the moment. But we do have a website. It's thebeautybrokers.com. And then there's a contact form that they could just fill out and reach us through our website, or they could reach out directly through us on Instagram at Beauty Broker Official, and I'm at Beauty Broker on Twitter.
Perfect. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time today, all your tips. I wrote down a lot. I know the people listening will love to hear those, and I'll watch for you on TV and watch for your book.
Okay, great.
All right. Thanks, Melinda.
Okay, thanks, Cindy. Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.